All right. Having a mint. I'm gonna have a nice fresh breath as I talk to everybody, even though they're not right in front of me. Okay. All right. As I start out, don't expect anybody to be here. There's going to be some people afterward that will watch this and come back. And my dog always makes an appearance every time I get on my computer. I'm trying to go live or have a meeting with somebody without fail. Now, if she barks, that's just a part of the show, okay? But I have always wanted to do a live series. I've always wanted to have some sort of a video series of sorts. I've been a big fan of Casey Neistat and his daily vlog that he had. I think that started back in 2015. I went and looked the other night, and then I watched a couple more. He's just really entertaining guy, right? And his vlogs were just about small stories about his day, right? And I've always enjoyed the format of Saturday Night Live. The comedy show. At least it used to be about comedy. Now it's about politics. And so I started listening to this podcast called My First Million about a year or so ago. Became really big fans of the guys there, Sam Parr and Sean Puri. And so I saw their format was around looking at businesses, the trends, new businesses that were emerging, and just kind of talking through hey, here's what's emerging, here's in this space, and then they literally go under a microscope with them. Here's what they're doing, here's their business model, here's how much money it's making, and then it would get your ideas started around how can you make your first million, right? And so it's just real fascinating. They were going from like single person businesses for solopreneurs all the way up into small businesses, and now they're talking about all sorts of things. But I really liked that format, the scrappy initial format that they had around how can you build a business. And right now, there's never been a better time to start a business or do something for yourself with all this AI stuff that's really emerged in the last few years. And that's the angle that I want to take. How can you use AI to build a business or build a product? Or most importantly, how can I use AI to better my life and make money along the way? So here we go. I'm going to Casey Neistat my opening here. Episode 1 of many. And what I want to do is I want to have a format here. Got to do it like that, right? I want to have a format where I go live every day. I want to shoot for 12 p.m. Eastern, but I'll always put a message out letting everybody know at least kind of like an hour in advance when I'm going to go. But I'd like to do that format. 30 minutes a day, Monday to Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern. I'd like to stick to that. Drop me a comment of what time you think works best for you. I'm trying to hit most of the US between the 3 hours there, and it seems to be a good time to do it. And if I can get some folks that want to come in internationally as well, that's great too. And welcome everyone into the call, right? And so let me share my screen here. And I have much to show. We're going to get into really what is going to be more of a real show and tell kind of a format here. I'm not going to do a whole lot of big introductions moving forward. And by the way, again, Sam and Sean, if you ever see this, you guys were my inspirations for this. And so hat tip to you, gents. So, and by the way, if you have not checked out their podcast, this is really good. I mean, there's just, honestly, what the format that I really like about it is, again, it's about business and talking business, but you come to find that they're kind of like just two bros talking about businesses, and you almost feel like you're kind of sitting beside them, like in their house, or a restaurant or something, just kind of shooting the shit about, trends that you're seeing, right? So really cool, guys, and a really cool format. So I highly recommend checking that out. And so what I want to do is I want to dive right in on every day about a business idea or multiple business ideas or different AI tools and go that route. I want to leave you, the viewers, with some ideas that you can have around what are AI tools that I can use and what are some businesses that I might be able to start. I really want to key in on solopreneurs and folks that are career pivoters. This is going live on LinkedIn and X, and on LinkedIn especially. Wow, so many people are out here looking for jobs. Okay, and that's understandable. But I want you to know that that should be your number one priority. But I want you to know as well that there are so many different things that you can do to put money in your pocket and to improve yourself and to invest in yourself. And that is what really I want to give you the keys here. No sales pitch at all. This is just going to be straight fire and just straight giving you information around how can you use AI to better yourself and better your situation. So let's dive right in. I thought today I'd start off with a couple of ideas around what I see in these newsletters that I get. I get a bunch of them. You sign up for them and they normally go right into your spam or they go into a folder and you just never see them again. And the other day I was flipping around through, there's one called Strictly VC. And as the name would imply, these are just companies that are getting VC funding, okay? And I occasionally go down and I scroll through and I don't really see too much that really grabs my attention, but there's two businesses inside this particular email from a couple of days ago that grabbed me. I'll walk through them. The first one was this one called Bevel. And so they raised 10 million on a Series A. And let me actually show you who they are. So this is Bevel. They are they're a data play. So Bevel turns data into personalized insights and recommendations across your sleep, fitness, nutrition, and more. It's an app that you can get, and then I think that I believe that there's some sort of a tie-in to the Apple ecosystem. Okay. So like the wearables, the watch and the iPhone and things of that nature. They have a really slick website, by the way. As I'm scrolling, you can see the cursor or you can see the little indicator off to the side there as it goes up and down, right? It moves with it. So I love their website, by the way. Shows you all the different things that you can get information around. You can get real-time metrics, around your recovery, your nutrition, which by the way is a massive space. There's all sorts of apps for that. They have a lot of things wrapped up into one. Sleep, you've got the Aura Ring. There's all sorts of cool things. I don't have one, but people are really big into tracking their sleep, their nutrition, all these different things, right? They've got all this into one app. There's even more. So it, talks about, kind of like your exercises and, different things around, dealing with the body, right? It's kind of indicating different things for you, your cardio, your activity levels and things of that nature. By the way, this is a really cool website. Watch as I continue to scroll. It pulls up different cards. I love these kind of sites. It's just like, it's kind of like an experience that you're going through. Really cool, right? So what I saw with this is I'm like, here's how my mind works, okay? My thought process is, okay, this company called Bevel is in a hot space. They're rolling all these different health pieces into one. And, how could, if this company is gaining funding, there's got to be funding out there for very like-minded tools and businesses, or something else in that space. If there's money, follow the money, right? If there's money going into this, there's got to be money surrounding that as well. And so that got me thinking, and I popped it into Chat GPT to help me to. And I have a pro account here, so you'll see some things here. Popped it into Chat GPT and I asked it to help me look at that idea, look at the business, Bevel, and help me come up with some business ideas that are surrounding it, right? That are adjacent to it, or on top of it, underneath it, around it, right? And I just want to see, what could be possible that I could play off of this trend, right? Of healthcare companies like this getting funding. And so I have this massive string here. I always use that. It's a recruiting term. Can't get that out of my head. I use search string, but it's really, we're talking prompts here. So I put a big prompt together that goes down, and I'm asking it for business ideas. I'm asking it to look at different and unique business ideas that could be started immediately off of this business for Bevel Health. I ask it to give me ideas with the titles. I ask it to break down the idea overview. What kind of a business category could this be? B2B, B2C? Could it be a productized service, digital tool, affiliate, marketplace? I had put together this really long prompt, and this one I found actually gives me quite a bit of information back. I'll show it to you. Give me an idea of the competitor landscape, and it asks it to do a web search. I have a demand analysis here, help me to, look across available information on Google Trends, answer the public, and even Ahrefs, or as they would say, Ahrefs, I think. I'm actually going to show it to you. I have a paid account. I pay $29 a month for their low-end product. Not bad. I'll show it to you in a second. What's the ideal customer, business models, financials, and so forth. So thought for a minute, and then it popped out 5 ideas for me. And this hasn't done this before with idea title. It normally puts this part right here up top, but did this right before we jumped on for one example to show you. I'll show you as I do this live with one. First idea that it gave me is a Bevel sync for teams. It's a plug and play, privacy safe wellness analytics for employers. Idea overview is a lightweight B2B platform. I'm looking at this actually in real time with you here. Ingests employees' opt-in wearable data. Okay. That's pretty interesting. Global wellness economy is 6.3 trillion back 2 years ago in 2023. So talking about, not sure, this is interesting, but I'm not sure if this is something that would grab me right away. Let me see here. Business model and financials, $2 to $4 per employee a month. Dashboards, integrations. If this is just a data play, I'm not as big on that. Again, I'd like to come at this from a single person business idea, a solopreneur. Like, okay, let's imagine me not working and I want to start something. And how can I get this going inside of a few days, or maybe a week or two, or inside 30 days max? What kind of a business can I get going around this? That's where my mind goes with this. My mind doesn't go to how can I build a team around this at first, or how can I get more fund or get funding for it. I'm talking about my own checking account or savings. I'm talking about a little sweat equity, getting in there, building it yourself with AI tools. And by the way, there's so many AI tools out there that you can use that are like, drop in a bucket, like $20 a month that you can use. I'll continue to give recommendations on what I think you can use for these things. But yeah, it's the barrier to entry right now. You'll hear me as you attend more of these, or as you see more of these, that it's a low barrier to entry. The AI is really kind of leveling the playing field. It's just a matter of how smart can you get, how quickly can you learn and adapt and get up to speed on these things pretty quickly. And by the way, if I can do it, you can do it, okay? I was in recruiting for 20 plus years, and then I made a pivot and got into this. So we'll talk further, but I wasn't really, you can see here the business model, but I wasn't really liking just the data play there, if that's the way I was reading that. I did scan it pretty quick. Let's go to the next one. Health Vault Export, Health Vault Export, clinician ready reports. I was really into like the kind of the data play. You see here, macro match market, a creator marketplace for HRV aware meal plans and recipes. Okay. A marketplace where registered dietitians, coaches, and foodie creators sell macro tag recipes and day plans, 714 day plans. Okay. So it looks like it's also a data plan as well, unless it's actually serving you the food, or is it giving you the meal plans? Here we go. recipe meal planning apps. And this is really big, right? Again, nutrition is a big thing. If you get some of those takeout, those food delivery services to your house, those are really big. Those like daily meal plans, or the couple of times a month you get those meals sent to you with the meal kits. Those are pretty popular, right? I think this is sort of a play off of that. We'll talk about the business model being 216,000 annual recurring revenue. If you're looking at $9 a month for grocery lists, $29.59 per premium plan pack. That's kind of interesting. I'm not going to go through every single one here because I wanted to show you a live one on an idea that actually excites me a lot more than this, but I wanted to give you a sense of how this works. I'll do this last one with you here. Sleep Stack Home. Automate your home based on readiness and recovery. Okay. A hardware light service that connects Bevel's sleep recovery signals to smart home routines. Dim lights earlier, delay coffee machine triggers, nudge thermostats, schedule when. This is kind of interesting. It's tapping into stuff that you basically already have around your house. If you have a real big smart home, like set up with all the different smart gadgets, that's kind of interesting. But it doesn't really get me out of bed. Okay. We'll come back. I want to put another idea in play here. This is the one that I saw. Let me come back over to this here. Come back to the top here, top of the page. Again, strictly VC. I saw Bevel in here, right? And that's the one we just looked at. The other one I want to go through is, as I went down through here, the one that really caught my attention is one I keep hearing about, the space around basically SEO for AI prompting. So there's a company right away that's grabbed me, a prompting company, a San Francisco-based startup founded this year that helps brands optimize their sites so that AI agents surface and cite their products and recommendations. Basically, how can I get my company and my products into ChatGPT? It's basically what it is. And so if you look at this company here, here's their website, the prompting company. You see, they actually have it right at the top, 6.5 million round. I actually think that's small. I actually think this is a massive space. We all know a person or two out there in the industry that is an SEO person or an SEO expert. This is where it's going. This is recommendations from AI. So there's such a massive thinking around, how do I get my products and my services at the top of the page on Google? Now, we're seeing a big shift here. The big shift is into, how do I get my business, my products, my services at the top of ChatGPT? How do I get them into the responses that it's popping out to prompts? I don't know if you know this, but a lot of people use ChatGPT just like their personal Google. I saw a stat the other day. It's something like 25% of the way that ChatGPT is prompted, or Perplexity or Anthropic, with Claude. Those are some of the big ones. And they're being prompted questions that normally would be asked by Google. They're now being prompted right inside ChatGPT. And I gotta be honest, I'm guilty as charged too. I use ChatGPT in so many different ways, and you're just asking it random questions around, hey, give me a restaurant that's nearby that hits this price point, and I can get a reservation in 2 hours. It's crazy how you can use it, and I think it's because, for me, I don't know if anybody else is like this, but you go into Google and you go in there, and it's always been sort of a mess. And you just know that a lot of things that are put up there are being paid to be there, or they're heavily optimized to be there. But this is where the future is going, and there's going to be more companies like this. So you can see the example to the side here. Business banking platforms offer high yield treasury. Pops up, boom, hey, there's a selection of business banking solutions with competitive returns. You got Roe and Brex and Mercury. But I mean, this is just a lightweight example. And then, basically, if you check out the website on your own, it basically talks about the process and how it works. And then it gives you, of course, it's not going to be free. Basically, there is a tier to it as well. I haven't used this yet. I don't personally recommend it, but the company just jumps right off the page at me. And so what I want to do is I want to pop a prompt into ChatGPT and see what we can and see what it kind of business ideas it could come off with live. And I hope you know that as you get to know me better, I'm not afraid to get a little egg on my face, right? And have something maybe fail live. Much like Saturday Night Live, when they go live, if you'll see them, if something goes bad, they're laughing. They're just rolling with the punches, and I'm going to roll with those punches as well. So I'm using, and I just started testing this out. I'm going to show you. I use a tool called Prompt Drive. And I'll give you just a little bit of backdrop on that in a second. But I wanted to get out of spreadsheets, and like I had a lot of text files. You can't see behind the screen here. I kind of moved some things around, but I would use a lot of different random text files. And then I'm looking around for, hey, where was that really good prompt that I spent 3 hours on the other day? I get tired of losing these things. So I had a business ideation one, and I had it 3 different ways, looking at LinkedIn profiles, which are rich in keywords, business ideations from businesses, and then business ideations from trends. And so the other one I showed you from Bevel was off of the business, and we're going to use that one again. So I'm going to copy that over. I'm going to come into ChatGPT, and we're going to pop up another one here. I'm going to pop that link in there, and then or that prompt, and then I need to get the prompt or the you get this URL here. Where is it here? Here we go. I'm using the Arc browser, and don't use it too much, but I actually like to use it for kind of presenting. It just has a nicer presentation than using Chrome in my mind. So, but not as familiar with all the inner workings of it. So here we go. ChatGPT 5 for the model. I use a pro account, and it will allow it to do a little deeper thinking if I wanted to, but I'm just going to hit this without going into a deep search. Review the business in this link, promptingcompany.com. Analyze and determine 5 different and unique business ideas that could start immediately. And let's allow it to think. This is probably, actually, I thought it would take a lot longer than that. Here we go. Gives me 5 ideas. And by the way, while that's actually continuing to populate, let me just pop this up and show you very fast here. This is Prompt Drive, which I promised I'd show you real quick. I found this the other day. There's a free solution, which is what I'm trying out. We'll see how far the free goes. But I'm hoping to use this to really jam in all my different prompts and then tag them and put them nicely and neat into a nice, little, search bar like I had there inside the, I want to see if I can use it in Arc, but I use it in Chrome. And then I can use this across ChatGPT. I can use it across Claude. I can use it in Midjourney. I can use it anywhere that I'm using prompts, which is pretty much everywhere and every type of tool that you're using nowadays. All right, so let's bounce back over to ChatGPT here. Again, I asked it to give me a couple of business ideas that were based off of the prompting company, which again is kind of like the equivalent of SEO for AI right now, which I think is going to be a massive space. So I'm asking it to build ideas around it. Again, not direct competitors, but around it. If the prompting company is gaining 6.5 million in funding, that that there's really good money in that space. There's a lot of people that are hedging their bets on it. So here's the first one. And again, I'm doing this live with you. So we're going to read them together. Agent Atlas, an AI agent libraries for niche verticals. Agent Atlas would build and license pre-built agent templates, okay, chatbots and workflows, tuned for very specific verticals. I like this. dental practices, boutique law firms, local HVAC service companies. All right, this is nice. The service specializes in a library of plug and play agents. This is great. This is great. Plug and play agents with workflows, prompts, and integrations so that a business can deploy a specialized assistant. Okay, serves businesses that don't have the internal AI resources to build from scratch. Wow. I think about this all the time. I think about as I drive around, I get out of my neighborhood here, drive around, and you go up and down these strip malls, like pretty much everywhere in America. You go a couple of minutes and there's just little strip malls or little nests of stores everywhere, right? There's dry cleaners and small mom and pop restaurants and hardware stores, and we're talking outside of the big chains. Again, nail, hair, restaurants, services, businesses, and even if you go on Google Maps and you do a 20-mile radius around you, there's got to be so many of these. I think about this all the time. How can you go in and provide an AI service into those types of businesses? I think that the market for that is huge. So what does it say that this is? This is a B2B SaaS with templates and services. Looking up here. Okay. Many chatbot platforms. I bet you there's a service and then there's a maintenance thing going on here. Maintenance package. Let's see. Starter agent. Here's the business models. This is what we want to talk about. Business models and financials. I just want to stick inside this one. Tier 1 starter agent, $299 a month. Okay, we're talking about monthly. A single agent and up to so many chats, and then you got a team suite, $799 a month. 3 agents, integrations, and analytics. I think that the training piece too is huge. Huge. When you get outside of X, if you're on X is like, you would think that you're like, I get on X and I think I'm like dumb. I get on there and there are just so many people out there that are just way smarter than me doing unbelievable things, building things, and that are way beyond my comprehension. And they're talking about the latest stuff that's coming in. But then I come to find that actually I'm actually right alongside a lot of these guys. It's just that this AI space is moving in such a rapid clip. And there's new stuff coming in every day. It's overwhelming, but it's like I sit back, I take a breather, and I'm like, okay, stick inside a couple of tools, stick inside your lane, and just understand that there's a lot of tools coming out there, and no one is really. And I've heard this from a lot of people before, and I will say that no one is truly like an expert in all this stuff in AI right now, because it just keeps changing. But I do feel like there's a lot of people that are looking at AI and saying, this is too complicated. This is too technical for me. And how can I possibly get into it? Those are the people that need different types of services and need to get integrated into it. They need to learn it. They need someone to kind of handhold and bring them into this AI age. Because I know this is not news to anybody, but this isn't going anywhere. This is not going anywhere. AI is not going anywhere. It's only going to just keep going. So it's better to kind of figure out, how can I utilize this for myself? And that's why I developed this live series, because I want to talk about how to use it to build something for yourself as a solopreneur, as a job seeker, as someone who just is like me. My brain doesn't turn off from creativity. It just keeps going, man. It just keeps going, and sometimes I have to calm it down. I'm like, hey, let's just focus in on one thing, right? But I do really like this idea. Wish it broke it out down at the end for me a little bit easier and cleaner, but it says, okay, if you acquire 50 customers at an average of 500 a month, that's 300K ARR, annual recurring revenue. That's yearly. Okay, with 100 at an average of 1,000, that's 1.2 million. Even if you got, at the 300 package, you're still looking at good money here. I think that a lot of people that are job seeking are trying to replace incomes that are definitely 6 figures and up on LinkedIn. So if you can find something that replaces, low to mid 6 figures, and then make that a side business as a starting point, not bad. Not bad. but if you can build that up, even better, right? For me, I don't know about you, but for me, the goal is like have something for yourself. That is always the goal. If you have to go and work in a corporate environment, I mean, if your job is really good and you're really enjoying it and it's very well paying and you've got stability there, you're in the minority. Right now, you're in the minority. The stability part, that's the minority. But again, I like this idea. This is not bad. Agent Atlas. Let me look at one more. We're at 12:30 here. I'd like to stick to a format of like around 30 minutes, but this gave me 5 ideas. But let's breeze through the others. And I want to show you something else real quick about how to take it to the next level from here, right? All right, so the second idea is Content Frame, a structured AI prompted content workflows. Okay, Content Frame offers professionals. Again, it's getting niche. I like this. Like drilling into very specific people, lawyers, architects, consultants, a subscription that gives them industry-specific prompt workflows. So you're giving them the flows right away. You're showing them what to do. A $199 a month membership. I think that's kind of, I don't know about this one. I think this might be a little expensive. I don't know if I really buy into that one. We'll come down to number 3 here just for saving some time here. Data Prompt Lab, number 3. A generative AI compliance and audit service. The minute you say generative AI to me, I'm thinking this is too complex. Let me see. Compliance and audit. With large enterprises adopting, okay, so right away you're sort of losing me. Large enterprises. Yes, there's big money and going into big companies, but I like almost like a B2C type play a lot for something like this, or like, yeah, B2B, but it's like I like the idea of going into small businesses for a lot of this. I guess that's just where my mind is working. This is a compliance service one. I will take this and put this into a LinkedIn post so I can give you this whole sheet of ideas so you can have this out of this, okay? For a plugin prompt marketplace, this is number 4. Plugin prompt marketplace, a plugin extension store for AI model integrations. A marketplace where developers and companies can publish plugins and extensions. Well, they kind of already have that. I don't think you're going to be able to really get in there and develop a second store, considering there is, OpenAI has their own store at this point. And I know Anthropic with Claude has kind of their own plugins and their own integrations and so forth. So let's kind of stay away from that. That seems more complicated to get that up and running too. It's a bigger build out with a lot more development that's needed. But if you have a deeper pocket, if that's something that interests you, I think that's a play. All right, 5, Prompt Coach Academy. Anytime I hear the word coaching or training, I think of a much lower barrier to entry and probably the easiest one to get into. It's probably like how I picture it, a single page website, click to buy, Stripe, get into your training and you get on the schedule, and then you bring in content. So all you're doing is bringing in the content. So if you spend 30 days developing courses, or other rich content, I love the idea of building once, selling 100,000 or 1,000,000 times, right? You can have it SEO optimized, right, for AI, and then while you're sleeping, you're getting orders. It's a content play. So I do like this. Let me see what this is. A deep dive training for in-house AI prompt teams. I don't know how many companies actually have a real AI prompt team. It's like everybody's prompting. Everybody. But I think that there are groups that are using prompts more than others. I definitely think development and coding teams, and then what's attached around that in companies. Like, so development and engineering teams, and then you've got around that, you've got designers, you've got your marketing teams, like kind of like loosely tied together. And, you probably have some customers. I would think customer service also would be a big play for this too. So So this could be something. But I really like the idea of just training people how to use AI. How do you prompt? You know, and I saw a business on that the other day. Oh gosh, it's not going to come to mind. But they were talking about that as well. It's like it's just a training play, And then while there are a lot of coaches out there right now and doing AI, I still think that there's a ton of room in that space. But where do they go with this? I mean, there's a lot of different things you can talk through here about the landscape and the demand for it. By the way, I've kind of breezed over that part here, but the real key piece here is the signal, right? I know the signal at the beginning was that it hit a newsletter. It hit Strictly BC, and that's important. But what is also important is doing your own research on it too. I did a lot of research here, pulling this out. Or you want to do a lot of research on this, and this pulls out the beginning surfaces that you can go and do more deeper research. So it's pulling out, there's trends for different things here. I would ask it, if I like one of these ideas, I would go and I would take it, and then I would ask it to go further with it. And so I liked this idea. If I come back to this, I really like the idea for Agent Atlas. I'm going to copy all this real quick. I'm going to do something here. What I like to do, and I'll end here probably, but what I like to do is I like to go over and immediately start to see what this would look like. I don't go right into like Framer or Webflow and start developing on a site for it. We're talking really early stages here. I want to see some visuals first, And what I want to do is I want to get over into Midjourney. So Midjourney is another tool that you can use. I think the lowest package is like $10, and I think I use like a $30 package here, and basically buy hours. Super powerful tool. You're buying hours to have it create images for you, and to some extent, short form videos, really short form videos, a couple second videos. This is this really gets your imagination wild and running. I was playing around with images just for posts the other day, and I'll let you see this. This is under my organized tab, and I kept messing around with trying to get this right. And you can see what I was trying to do was I was trying to get, you can see I actually don't see the original prompt here, but I was trying to get two people spying on a building, right? Here we go. Two people laying on a hillside on their stomachs, but you can see that it's sometimes AI, it can really, you'll say hallucinate, but it just runs weird and it imagines things, or it thinks that this is what you want. It puts this girl looking down into the ground here. What appears to be an Asian woman, like looking way down here. But this doesn't work for me, so I kept like this. It actually produced some naked photos. I did not have anything naked in my prompt. And then I'm not sure. This is not too bad, but it looks like two little girls. Anyway, you can see that I can do all sorts of wild things with this. I want to create. Pop in here like. I want to see what this gives me if I say agent. I want to see, I'm just giving it just the information that I had here. Agent libraries for niche verticals. I'm going to take out the alternative names as to not confuse it too bad. And I know that this is not the way to do this, but I'm popping in a bunch of keywords here. I'm going to say image for a business. Actually, I don't even really need to do that. Let's just see what this does here. Now, you can play with the settings. If you're familiar with Midjourney, I like to kind of mess around with a few things here. The stylization, the highest you can get up to is 1,000 on here, and the higher you give it, the more realistic the images tend to be. And if you also set it to raw, I can run with a little weirdness factor here, and then we can go with a little variety as well. I'll do an entire session on this, most likely tomorrow, so you can see this, because I feel like I'm running out of my time here. And I wanted to stick this to 30 minutes, but I wasn't sure if I'd have enough content for this. So again, learning on the fly, learning to go live. Let's see what this comes up with. When you ask it to go live with it, it'll give you a set of 4 images to start, and you can just keep iterating, just keep pushing the button. I probably gave it okay. So again, our idea for a business was Agent Atlas. By the way, AI is really bad, really bad with spelling. I actually kind of like this. This is kind of fun. Almost like, hey, this could be, some form of an idea that we could use for pulling it into a logo, right? Or, maybe this little agent guy is, he kind of floats and moves and animates on the site. I think that would actually be pretty cool. And then the other ones are, well, this looks like there's, snow or dust. That's kind of cool. I think that this guy actually right away grabs my attention because he's got the 2 eyes. And if you've seen Wall-E, the Disney Pixar movie, I kind of like that one. I like Wall-E. And, giving a robot kind of like a human kind of a feel to it. Let's see. Agent Olatols. Tratal types. See, you just can't spell. You could literally come back in here and you will work on this for hours trying to get it to type. So more than likely what you do is you take this out of here and you go to Photoshop, or you go to Canva or something else and you work with it from there. Or if you're a designer, you go into like a Figma. And so I like this one, and I'll just show you what you would do. I'd say this is a strong one. If you want to do subtle changes, you hit subtle. If you want to do really big changes to it, you hit strong. You can animate it as well. Let me hit subtle just to see if it can kind of clean it up just a little bit and give me something different. And I'll also hit a strong version. You can see you can just keep iterating and keep having it generate. It takes seconds. All right. Oh, this guy's looking a little more like, he's looking pretty cool here with his glasses on. See, it's 63%. It's getting up there. And again, I don't see anything that has been spelled correctly except agent. So this guy looks a little more mad, right? But you can see the earth in his reflection. This guy's only got one eyeball. Or you don't see his eyes and he's just looking at something. That's kind of cool too. But I wanted to show you too, this is where I'll leave it, that I know I spoke about ARIFs earlier, or as they would say, I think the company pronounces it HREFs. I don't know why they don't pronounce the A. But this is where I came in and I asked it to put together a series of a search for me around keyword search, just around prompting and AI prompting and AI prompting for AI. And so I wanted to get a sense of, what did this look like? What are the what does the search traffic look like right now as it sits on Google? Google's still king, and Google's still getting some 90% of the search. I have to actually look that up to see if that is actually still true. That was true as of a month or two ago. But you can see the search volume. This is the monthly average. 61,000 searches are coming up for the word prompt, just the word prompt. Running prompts, prompt engineering, command prompt, Gemini photo prompt, drawing prompts. You go from 61, 37, 28 all the way down. Keeps going. And then you can see kind of the long tail of what it looks like. And then you can get a sense of, and I do this under match key terms. And then I like to go into the questions. What are the questions here? How to open command prompt. What is prompt engineering? What is a prompt? How to generate images from text prompts. See, everyone's trying to figure this whole thing out, right? Asking questions, typing in their ideas, seeing what comes up. But I think that the SEO part is the big part. And as I come down and through here, lower volume, but I really still feel like this is going to come. So I click on the SEO and I want to see what it brings in here. How to use AI for SEO. 350. How to optimize my SEO for Google's AI overviews. I will put a stake on this and guarantee that this is going to be a massive, massive market. OpenAI, Anthropic, all the big companies in AI, and Microsoft, all of them, they all have their own models, they all have their own tools. They're not going anywhere. And they're all figuring out right now, how do I recreate all these different markets? Google was considered a monopoly, probably still is. Google had just the internet by the balls. I mean, they did, like with the search, it's going away. It's going away. Everything is going into prompts. Everything is going to be going into ChatGPT. People are using it for everything, and the other models too. But you're going to be getting most of your search done inside those models. Perplexity is huge. And then there's the browsers that are out now. You've got Comet from Perplexity. You've got Atlas from OpenAI. You've got Dia from the browsing company. There's a ton. So this is where I feel like the real trend is going to go, and where I feel like everything is, where I feel like some of these really good business ideas could be for you. I'll put together a post. I'll pop it on LinkedIn and X here today. I will give you the prompt that I use. I kind of keep tweaking it a lot, but I'll give you what I used, and I'll give you those business ideas, or I'll figure out a way to get a link to it. I'm also thinking of maybe putting together like a Google Sheet that really organizes all these different ideas, and so you can see them kind of chronologically as I go through this. I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below in LinkedIn or X whenever you see this. Let me know what you think of the format. Let me know what you'd like to hear about. I want to hear about the ideas that you have for me to use this 30 minutes good for you. Until next time, I'll see you.